Okay, welcome to our latest Swampcast, and of course it's finally game week and game Swampcast. This game has taken on a different tone maybe than it did a month ago. Still a big game, and especially big, I think, for Jim McElwain, because Florida fans aren't going to be real happy if not only do they suspend 10 guys, but then they go lay an egg in Dallas.
And Pat, the thing is, I think that he's counting on these guys that are going to play. They're going to step in for Scarlett and Callaway. They're going to be excited to play, and that's going to help. And, they've been gearing toward this game for a month, and I think there is excitement still, but a little bit of a damper on the whole mood. Yeah. Maybe not among the team, but among fans, I think. You hear some are talking about canceling their trip because they don't want to go out there, but it's two guys, basically, that they're going to miss. But they got players to take their spot.
I think they'll miss some of the other guys. And, again, Callaway and Scarlett are good players. They're not exceptional players. They're not, this isn't Ridley and Geis they're losing.
Yeah, exactly.
They're good players, and they're going to miss them. But they were the selfish ones. They decided to do this. But it's hard for me to feel a lot of sympathy for people that bought tickets and bought airline and are going all the way out there. You've got housing, you've got dry clothes,
exactly.
Calm down. It's not the end of the world. But it is, I think it's a big game for Florida. I don't even think it's a big game to win as much as it is to be respectable.
Yeah, and look better on offense, Pat. Yeah. That's the whole key. And with Franks getting in there, I think that he's got a guy with a strong arm that can get the ball downfield, and I think we're going to see some of that.
It's kind of funny because most of us figured Franks about 10 days ago.
Yeah.
It seemed pretty obvious. The rumors were that Malik Zaire wasn't as good maybe as they thought he might be, and that he wasn't great throwing the ball, and I just don't think they wanted to put Luke Del Rio out there. They know they've got him in reserve, and let's give Franks a try. But again, he's got two weapons that are out, but he's still got plenty of weapons. He's got
what should be an improved offensive line.
Should be a better offensive line, assuming that they all make it. Yeah. We still don't know about that yet, but it'll be interesting to see how Franks does. First redshirt freshman to start the opener since Kerwin Bell of all people. But because Will Greer technically didn't start the first game, he started the second game.
But Bell had a similar situation, neutral field, ranked opponent in Miami, and he did pretty well.
Yeah, he did real well until the end.
He rallied him to what could have been a win, but they lost them last minute.
Kozar to Brown, was that the touchdown?
I think it was.
I think it was Eddie Brown. No, I think it was Eddie Brown, and then they
returned an interception.
Returned interception on the last play of the game, but it was a heck of a game. I think Gator fans are hoping for something that good. I mean, winning and losing is obviously you want to win the game more than anything. And if you can somehow find a way to win this game and then maybe get some of these, I don't think you're going to get all these players back in the next couple of weeks, you could see the momentum pick back up. But right now, doesn't it feel, Robbie, kind of like the wind's been let out of the sails a little bit?
Yeah, they kind of feel outmanned a little bit because the big concern now, Pat, is will there be more suspensions, and who will it be, and how will it affect them moving forward, and how long is this investigation going to last? Because they're not coming back till it's over.
Yeah, exactly, and that's Florida's doing the smart thing there, making sure that guys who may be ineligible are not going to play. And but again, we'll see how it affects them. I mean, we've been so curious to see what this offense is going to look like, to see whether the offensive line is ready to play, that we'll at least get to see that finally. But I'm still. I cannot get past whether this team mentally will let this bother.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you can talk about you're excited, you want to play, but there is like a dark cloud hanging over the program a little bit right now. And these are young kids. How do they respond? Do they go out excited to play, or do they kind of go into the tank a little bit if something goes wrong early?
And if it does go bad, how does that affect the rest of the year?
Yeah.
I mean, is it a cumulative effect? And again, this is a program that had a lot of buzz in the summer, and now it's kind of, you can't hear that buzz anymore, and nothing would do better than to go win that game. And everybody goes, you got to give those kids credit. You got to give McElwain credit. It all changes. But if you go out there and get, again, let's also make this clear: Michigan's not great.
No, they lost to Iowa last year with a lot better players, like you said earlier.
And they've got a lot of guys that they're replacing. A lot of guys who are going to be wide-eyed. Some freshman receivers, some freshman DBs. Rashawn Gary's really good, but again, he's not played a full game yet. He's been a situational guy so far. So they're good enough to beat, even with what they've got left, is certainly good enough to beat Michigan. And if they pull it off, we're going to be talking about it as one of the great wins ever. Right?
Yeah, and Pat, this is different than most openers. Who you're playing, where it's at, what it means. This game does set the tone for the rest of the year, I think. It's very important in that regard.
And I think it sets a tone for a lot of things.
Yeah.
The direction of the program, recruiting, all that kind of stuff, I think is vital. I mean, you don't want to have your recruits, guys that you're interested in, or even have got committed from, to turn on the TV at 3:30 on ABC and watch your team just play terrible, and you go, well, it's because they got guys suspended because they turned it, they bought electronics instead of books, and that's a big issue, and it's still ongoing, and they're talking about it the whole game. And as the game winds down in the last fourth quarter, and Michigan's killing them, and all of a sudden that's all they're talking about.
You can't have another 41-7 like 2 years ago. That isn't going to work.
At the least, you got to be competitive. At the best, go win the game. We'll see what happens, and then we'll
got a chance.
We're not even sure if we're coming to you after the game. We're still trying to figure that out. It's a whole different world now out there. But maybe we'll. If we do, If not, we'll come back to you next week. Until then, Pat Dooley and Robbie Andreu, the Gainesville Sun, saying so long from the Sunshine State.